And on this occasion, I'm very happy to introduce my good friend from Croatia, Mr. Ivan Pernar. He's a former member of the Croatian Parliament, the Sabor, and he's also a prolific entrepreneur. So we believe in the market, in the free market, and Ivan is a very strong entrepreneur. And we always talk about business strategy and how to succeed in the market. And he's got a lot of great ideas. He always makes me laugh. He always makes me think. One of my proudest moments is to hear Ivan read words that I wrote in the Croatian Parliament in Croatian. He actually influenced my learning of Serbo-Croatian language, which is really great. And he also lived in Hanover, Germany, where they speak the best German, I'm told. So anyway, he's also a member of the Liberland Congress and also involved in the Ministry of the Interior. So without further ado, Ivan is going to talk a little bit about beating sugar addiction, I believe. And that's something we briefly touched on in Daya's presentation. So I think that's something we can all learn from. Sugar is one of the big demons in our diet. And I think it leads to a lot of problems, not just obesity, but other kinds of issues that we have with our health, and of course you could talk about that. So welcome, Ivan. Let me give you the microphone.
Thank you for the mic. I'm happy to tell everybody how it's easy to break sugar addiction. I used to live for many years, I would say decades. As a regular dude, I was eating what other people eat. And of course, sugar, either added, usually chocolate and jams and ice creams and so on. And one day I read a book of a famous dentist. You can Google his name, Weston Price. He wrote a book called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. In this book, he explained why refined sugar is dangerous. And he explained that due to inadequate intake of minerals, because we get the calories, but we don't get the minerals, there is a tooth decay. There is also orthodontic issues in children because the jawbone cannot properly develop because mother doesn't eat enough minerals and so on. And so after reading that book, I went for a struggle, better say, to get rid of sugar. So what happened soon after? As soon as I quit this refined sugar, not the sugar which is naturally in the banana or orange or anything else, but just the one which is refined, which is added to sweeten up things, I realized there are cravings. And that was the first moment I realized I was sugar addicted, but I didn't know I was sugar addicted. When I was a kid, my mother used to tell me that some things it's better for me not to know. But then later I realized that some things that you don't know may kill you. And the sugar is one of those. So when I quit the sugar and these cravings began, I was thinking, what would Dr. Weston Price do? And Dr. Weston Price said, you can eat anything except refined sugar. And then I would eat 6 bananas a day, 6 or 5 oranges a day, sometimes even 10 bananas a day. So whenever I was missing sugar, I would just eat this, let's say, same amount of sugar as before, but not refined one, but through natural sources. And for 1 month, I ate like a maniac fruits every day. And after 25 days or a month, suddenly the constant urge to eat, the hunger, the cravings just disappeared. And after 1 month, what happened is that I would eat 1 banana every 2 days. 1 orange a day, for example. So basically the food intake didn't go down on my will because I wanted to reduce it. Just the urge, better say addiction, disappeared. And what happened then? Suddenly I realized that I need to make new holes in my belt to move the belt, because suddenly I became thinner. I was looking what was happening with me. And the secret was that once you get the sugar addiction out, your organism is basically making your organism in order. You eat as much as you need, and basically you lose all extra weight. And then when people would see me afterwards, and it was just about the time I quitted the parliament in Croatia, they would ask me, Ivan, what happened with you? Why did you lose the weight? And I said, I no longer eat in parliament restaurant because it's famous for cheap food. And so that's where I took our foreign minister, yes. So the basic mistake that all fat people who want to lose weight do is the following. Instead of getting rid of sugar addiction first, and then naturally losing their weight, what do they go? They go to starvation diet. They think in their mind that if they just cut all sugars and food intake, that they can survive on such diet, but they can't. They mentally break because sugar addiction is very powerful. It's more powerful than drugs. People can't get rid of drugs for all their life. Like, why do you think sugar addiction could be solved just like that by vast masses of people, as Muammar Gaddafi would say? So my advice to every person who is around us, who is fat, don't go on a diet. If you want to lose your weight, first substitute refined sugar with sugar which is naturally in food. Eat as much as you want, as long as sugar addiction is there. Only once sugar addiction goes away, then you will realize that you don't need to force yourself to eat less, you will just eat less. And this recipe worked so many times. I would just like to tell you one more secret that I found out, and I'm sure my president would also be intrigued by that, because our president, unlike president in Croatia, is enemy of refined sugar. So we have sweet potato here, for example, and some healthy options. He's always trying to make us healthy again, or maintain us healthy, to say so. But what is the catch? As a kid, I was told, if you eat sugar, my mother would say, oh, it's no problem to eat chocolate, just wash your teeth after. That's what she told me. That's what people are telling to their children for decades, and for decades we have tooth decay, tooth loss. All these guys who brush their teeth in the end, as they grow old, lose all the teeth. It has to do a lot with the diet. But now to come to the sugar. Did anyone of you hear for the birch sugar, brezin šećer? Yes, it's called xylitol. So what's the difference between xylitol and all other sugars? Why would this sugar be good for teeth and all other bad? Secret is following, just to understand the problem of decay. Once I changed my diet and I quitted refined sugar, I added iodine, I thought myself, now I will never again have cavity. That's what I thought. But regardless I've done that, the cavities came back. The buildup of this plaque hardens to this tartar, yes, hardens to tartar, would cause gum inflammation and so on. And I said to myself, okay, I changed my diet, I still have cavities. And how so animals who never brush their teeth in life and have the same diet like me, why do they never get a cavity? That was the mystery for me. Because I thought if I eat like animal, I will have no problems that animals have. And then the secret came out, and secret is called Staphylococcus mutans. That's the bacteria that we have in our oral cavity that is the main and dominant cause of cavities. And this bacteria is also causing plaque buildup, and aside of plaque, of course, the cavities. And you can imagine, if you put a human on a diet like an animal, for example, typical animal, you will see that animal doesn't have plaque, tartar, and cavities, and the human will get them. And the cause of it is Staphylococcus mutans, this dangerous bacteria. And that was the first time that I realized for this issue. And the reason why animals don't have these problems is because they don't have that bacteria in their mouth. And the humans are born without that bacteria. But what happens? First time their mother or father kisses them in the mouth, they share the spoon, whatever, they get infected with Staphylococcus mutans. So, aside of having a proper diet, in order for us to get rid of tartar and cavities, we need also to get rid oral cavity from Staphylococcus mutans. And the question is, how can a man get rid of that? And secret is xylitol or birch sugar. Why? When you eat birch sugar, and after you wash your teeth, you put teaspoon of this sugar, xylitol, in your cup of water, and then you flush your mouth, and you can drink it, no problem. What do bacteria do with that sugar when they feel it? What do you think Staphylococcus mutans does? He eats it, exactly. And as soon as he eats it, it starts to metabolize xylitol. But can Staphylococcus mutans metabolize xylitol? Answer is no. It's a futile metabolic process. Basically, you cheat the bacteria, and in the end of this process, the bacteria turns it to one other form, third form, and then spits it out. During this metabolization process, Staphylococcus mutans didn't get any calories, but he lost energy in that process. So basically, xylitol is starving Staphylococcus mutans to death. That's the secret of having a healthy teeth. And that's what I learned by coincidence from one woman. I explained her, I wrote in general what problem I had. And she said, well, you're missing xylitol. And I started reading all the scientific articles about xylitol. So if you want to put in the morning in your coffee sugar, best sugar to add is xylitol. It is equally sweet as regular sugar, but it has 60% of calories that regular sugar has. And we could have it in Liberland as well on our bar. And what's interesting, it's so-called sugar alcohol. Menthol, xylitol, erythritol, those are sugar alcohols, but when you taste it, it tastes just like any other sugar. It has a bit menthol taste, you will notice. And then my mother, when she heard that there is a good sugar, that after this sugar, that you take it after you wash the teeth, not before, she said, let's make cakes out of sugar. I also explained to her one more interesting thing. When you eat regular sugar, your blood sugar level goes up. When you eat xylitol, your blood sugar level doesn't go up, so diabetics can eat xylitol as much as they want. And they have sweet, and they never have high sugar level. And the secret of that is because, unlike regular sugar, xylitol is metabolized super slow. And other reasons why I don't know. I just know it's metabolizes super slow. And when I told that to my mother, she said, Ivan, let's get this sugar, let's put it in all the cakes, and we have problem solved. And then I told her, mother, but there is one problem. She said, what? And I said, if you eat more than 20 grams of xylitol, you get diarrhea. Like it's not like a solution to just make cakes and eat half of the tepsia, we say, half of the. So if you want to have some little sugar, get yourself xylitol. Don't eat too much. What I did, like people ask me if I flush my teeth with it, can I eat it? I said, look what I did. In the morning I wake up, bacteria are starving. Teeth were clean, they had nothing to eat. First thing I do, xylitol. After half an hour, I have regular meal and so on. And every time after I clean the teeth during the day, I would eat xylitol again. And on the evening, I took 6 spoons of xylitol and put it in a cup of water. And of course, as every time previously, I would drink it. and then diarrhea come. And then I tell to people, if you do it too often, too many teaspoons, in the end you have to spit it out. But as long as you don't eat more than 5 teaspoons of xylitol, you can it's tasty, it's good. So people, get yourself xylitol. You can buy it per kilogram. It's very cheap, and you can use it as an efficient and effective substitute. If there is any other questions, thank you. Oh, Your Excellency.
Ivan, and of course you are also known. You've been a trained medical professional
Yes.
by profession, right? And you have a lifelong interest in health in general. I mean, you've got a couple more topics.
Yes.
Maybe if you could give a 1-minute pitch on every single other topic that you like to talk about. I mean, I know at least about 3-4 other topics.
Sure.
Starting with vitamin C, but try to give one topic each minute. Whatever, how many topics you can come up with, the more the better.
I will tell you one very interesting, because now most of us are, I guess, in Northern Hemisphere. It's getting cold, people are getting sick. And my roommate in Liberland here is one Swiss guy, a very kind man. And when he woke up, because I don't like the sound of air condition, it's connected to the barrack, and we turned it off during the night, and it was quite cold. And in the morning, he woke up and he said, "Oh, my throat, I feel it's a bit inflamed." And I said, "Brother, don't worry, we have iodine." And I took 5% Lugol solution. I said to him, "Open your mouth." He opened his mouth. And on his tonsils, I put few drops of iodine on each tonsil and bit in the back of his throat. And I say to him, "Do you feel something?" And he said, "Yeah, it's disgusting taste," he said. I say, sure, but do you feel any better?" And very soon, a few minutes after, he said, the inflammation was gone, pain was relieved. Also, what I do with iodine, if you have, when I had ear inflammation, you dilute 5% Lugol solution with 20 drops of water. So 1 drop of 5% Lugol solution, 20 drops of just a regular water. And then mixture of those two, when the ear hurts you, you drop in the ear 2 or 3 drops. At the beginning, due to inflammation, it will hurt you a bit more. But very soon, the pain will go away. That was my experience. If you try it, you do it on your personal responsibility. If you don't do it, you will end up on antibiotics. That's what doctor give you, 10 days antibiotics. And one father, when he cured his child from ear inflammation with this simple solution, he asked me, "Ivan, why don't you go around the hospitals and tell people how to solve ear inflammation?" And why is ear inflammation, Your Excellency, very important? Because every 5th visit to pediatric doctor by child is due to ear infections. All these visits could be eliminated, and constant poisoning of children could also be eliminated. And another topic very important that I learned from my father, and my father learned from Linus Pauling, Nobel Prize winner, and Linus Pauling learned from Dr. Klenner, who was family practitioner, is vitamin C. So all animals, this is very important. When have you seen dog eating an orange? I never saw it. And the lady said her dog eats, but I never seen a dog eating, drinking lemonade and so on. And then I was wondering, how do these dogs, these animals in the forest, like wolves, how the hell do they get vitamin C? This was my question. Back then, I didn't know that every animal, except humans, monkeys, and hamsters, can create vitamin C out of glucoses. They turn sugar into vitamin C. So when animal is sick, what does it do in the middle of winter and snow? Do they go to veterinarian? No, they just turn sugar into vitamin C and they get healthy. The average amount of vitamin C that, for example, goat makes a day is 3 to 4 grams. And what about the rats? Why are they resistant to poisoning? What do you think? It is vitamin C. Once they get poisoned, they create huge amount of vitamin C and they get healthy again. They survive poisoning. That's their secret. So monkeys per day, they eat about, because they eat a huge amount of fruits, they eat around 5 grams of vitamin C. And what's the recommended vitamin C amount for humans? 0.125 grams. It's much less than a goat. Goat has 3 to 4 grams, although it weighs less than average human. So basically, I realized that vitamin C can treat any infectious disease. That's what Dr. Klenner was saying. That's what Dr. Linus Pauling was doing. And when my father learned that, when I was a kid, I had pneumonia. I was spitting out this white sputum. How you say? Phlegm. Yes, I was spitting out phlegm. And my mother, as a doctor, gave me antibiotic. And as I took the antibiotic for 3 days, and you should take it longer, my symptoms were gone. But as soon as I stopped taking, sooner than I was supposed to take, this problem returned. And then my father asked me, son, why don't you try vitamin C? I said, let's try. And as soon as I started taking it, I saw the problem going away. And after that, every respiratory infection that I have, I treat with vitamin C. And now, why is that important? When people have children, children have respiratory infection. They don't give them vitamin C. They don't build up immunity. And what happens? The infection sometimes goes away on its own, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it spreads to ear. So it's very important to act as soon as you see that you or your child is sick. Vitamin C, super powerful, super effective for any kind of inflammation, from oral infect to whatever. And once it was this year in January, what happened to me? I had again inflammation of lungs. I was again spitting out this shit. And I was taking every hour 1 teaspoon of vitamin C. Every hour. I will just tell you, my son, when he was very small, just born, he had eye infection. Eye infection. And they put him some antibiotic drops, but this didn't help. And then what I did, I said, look, forget about these drops. I said to wife, I said, put vitamin C in your milk. So we squeeze out the milk like a cow. We put some vitamin C in it, and we give child to drink. Child was healthy. Problem was gone. People don't know about these properties of vitamin C. Very important ones, for sure. And what was I saying? Oh yeah. Earlier this year, I was having again some kind of pneumonia. And when I would be taking 1 teaspoon an hour, infection was under control. But as soon as I would stop intake on this frequency, it would explode again. So I felt like I'm in a circle out of which I can't escape. And vitamin C seemed ineffective. Like you could put it under control, but infection was not gone. And then, as I like to experiment with various stuff, I took vitamin D that my mother takes due to osteoporosis. And she has some pills with huge amount of vitamin D that is usually taken by people who have this issue. And as soon as I took this vitamin D pill from her, the symptoms rapidly improved. But the next day I didn't take it, and the symptoms again got worse. And then I realized, okay, I have to take this every day. And after 3 or 4 days taking vitamin D connected with vitamin C, problem was done. So to let you know, sometimes vitamin C is not enough. Vitamin D is also important. And before, when people were sick, they would send them to sanatoriums just to have a sunbathing. Just sunbathing, they realized that can cure people. Of course, it was vitamin D that cures them. I would not like to talk much longer. I would like to hear from you if there is any question, because if I tell you everything now, next time you will not call me to talk. And if I will talk, you will say, this guy is boring. We already heard all this stuff. So my grandpa, when I was a kid, every time he would tell me different story. Never in his life he repeated the same story over again. And I would sit, even when I was over 18, I would listen to his story. Sometimes it was from his work experience, sometimes from Second World War. He always had some crazy anecdotes. And this is a gift of storytelling. I'm listening to you, President.
Well, thank you very much. Of course, we leave the B12 for next time. Okay.
Okay, I can tell them. So 5% of people have a problem with B12 deficiency. This is very important element because if you don't have enough of it, you cannot myelinize your nerves. So there is a process of demyelinization, and what you get, the white stuff in brain also goes away. And that's why multiple sclerosis is so dangerous disease. And the symptoms of B12 deficiency and multiple sclerosis are the same, but they have totally different cause, of course. If you are B12 deficient, what I had tremor on my this finger, and also I realized I began to forget things that I should not forget. And when I realized I'm forgetting too much, I look on Google what's causing dementia. And one of the causes listed was B12 deficiency. And as soon as I started taking B12, all the symptoms were gone. And I was relieved. I was so happy. I couldn't believe it could be so easy to go. And then I realized following. When I was working as a nurse in a general practitioner's office, we had people who were B12 deficient since birth. So they need to take B12, either injection or whatever. Why? Because their intestines cannot properly absorb it. So you can have the same diet, but your intestines don't absorb B12 as efficiently as someone else. That's why 5% since birth are deficient. And these people are added. But what I didn't know is that as people grow older, B12 deficiency becomes more common. At the age of 60, 20% of people are B12 deficient. And that's what surprised me when I suddenly, out of the blue, got those symptoms of deficiency. And I want to say to all the people who feel like tingling sensation in their brain, which I had, or a tremor, or forget stuff, or feel depressed, try B12. That's very effective. If the symptoms go away in day or two, it was B12 deficiency. Very simple way, because symptoms of that deficiency promptly disappear as soon as you take it. I give you a microphone.
Thank you very much, Ivan. I think any more questions for Ivan?
Bird sugar. Oh, yeah. It sounds very mystical, because when I heard first time for this bird sugar, the question was the same. Where the hell do I get that sugar, you know? And when I wrote on Google bird sugar or xylitol, I saw that in DM, for example, they have their shops in Germany, Croatia, Serbia. Apatin, I guess, also has DM. You go there, you can buy half a kilogram of it for a few euros. In Croatia, there is one shop called Tvornica Zdrave Hrane. They have 1 kilogram for 9 euros. So it all depends, but the simplest way is just to write on Google xylitol 1 kilogram, and you will find it. And of course, don't take me for a word. Google yourself, do your own research. Don't trust the word I told you. Find out for yourself.